Okay guys, welcome back to another video. So today we are cleaning this studio and event center, and if you ever need any weddings, quinceañeras, baby showers, anything, corporate events you got going on, be sure to give these guys a contact. But this is what we're doing today. So we want to improve the inside appearance as well as the outside appearance. So first, we're seeing kind of in the parking lot itself, we have a lot of dirt and stuff like that. Right now, what we're focusing on is basically from this line over to the front of the building. So we're going to be cleaning the front of the building, cleaning the windows, cleaning the sills, getting the presentation, doing the high dusting around the outside of the building. And the reason is because, you know, it's a business here, and the front of your building is going to be attracting clientele. That's how people are going to want to have their events here, right? And if the front of the building is not presentable, people are not going to want to have their events here. So that's what our job is to make sure that we can make this place so nice that a person says, yeah, let's go ahead and use these people's business. So this is what we're dealing with today. So we've got all of our equipment in here. So we're kind of making a mess with just the sheer amount of stuff that we have. But kind of looking at the floors is mainly why we were brought in here today. So you can see they've got porcelain tile floors. Porcelain tile is always a difficult thing to clean because of how delicate the surfaces are. But what you'll see, she was saying we want to polish the floors, but if we zoom in here, you can see it's not so much a polishing job that needs to be done. It's mainly just a lot of residue and crap that's on the floor. So they've been mopping the floors with some sort of chemical that the porcelain does not like. And so that's basically what we're gonna fix today, is we're gonna fix these floors so that everything comes out looking great for the customer, so that they can attract more of their clientele, their targeted clientele. And these floors are a part of attracting targeted clientele. So that's what we're doing today. We're doing the floors, and then of course we're doing the rest of the facility, disinfecting the bathrooms, knocking out the bathrooms, cleaning the kitchen, disinfecting the kitchen. We're leaving the chandelier for another time, but this is basically what we're on today. So what I wanted to talk about was on porcelain floors. You can see a lot of the residue that's on the floor. Porcelain floors are difficult to clean. They're difficult to clean because of the glass fired finish on top. So porcelain, it's very much like those coffee cups, right? So everybody loves those fancy coffee cups. Well, porcelain tiles basically get flamed and finished in the same way that those coffee cups get finished. So this glass finish that you see on top is a glass finish, first of all, but secondly, it's a very, very thin finish. So if somebody comes in here and says, yeah, we can sand and with a diamond buffer and polish up the floors, you can do that. But for the longevity of the floors, that's not going to work that well. And the reason is because, you know, there's only 1 millimeter to 2 millimeters of glass, maybe not even 1 millimeter, maybe half of a millimeter of glass on top of the print, right? Because this is not marble, it's porcelain. So these textures are not in the tile, they're printed onto the tile, and then a layer of glass is flamed on top of them. So because of how thin that coating is, we're basically having to be incredibly delicate, because any sort of scuffing or marring on the floor or on the surface of the floor, it's not gonna go well, because we're not gonna be able to polish it out. Every time you polish, you take away material. There's not a lot of material on top of the print, on top of these tiles. And so you buff them 3 to 4 times, and maybe after the 4th buffing, you get down to the print underneath the tile. So, but we'll just show you a little bit of kind of what we've got going on here. So other than just the kind of the basic trash on the floor, food on the floor. Oh, he already picked it up. Okay. Junk on the floor. This Formica countertop. So once again, can't use any sort of acids or anything like this to clean. And it's just a lot of grease. This is the bar area, so it's a lot of grease, a lot of build up and stuff. And the purpose of today's visit is to make this place attractive to potential customers. We want to make this place attractive to potential customers because as a cleaning company, the success of our cleaning company is directly correlated with the success of our clients. And the success of our clients can do with the cleanliness of their facility. So it's a mutual partnership where we want their company to be very, very successful, so that we can grow alongside them, right? If they go out of business, there is no facility for us to clean, and we don't want any sort of situation where they get bad reviews because of the cleanliness of the area. And we also just want to leave a good impression, because the better impression that we have in this facility, the more customers are going to want to come back again and again and again. They'll want to come back for their weddings. They'll want to come back for the Sweet 16s. They'll want to come back for corporate events. So the cleanliness of the facility is incredibly important, especially for a venue like this. So that's what we're doing. We'll go ahead and get to work here. Michael, you already started working on the bathrooms? Is it still dirty, or is there one? No, you didn't do the left one, did you?
I haven't done any of them.
Okay.
I was spraying down to the kitchen first.
Oh, okay. So these are the bathrooms here. So you can see, same thing, porcelain tile floors, a lot of residue. And guys, this is just residue. This isn't, I don't know if you've seen our other videos about people putting too much soap down on the floor. This is the process. This is the result of putting too much soap down on the floors. So that's what we're fixing today. And other than that, stocking, restocking, but just need to make sure that we have our stock. So this is the first time we've ever cleaned this facility. This is not our finished work, guys. Don't worry about that. This is a brand new contract, and this is the first time we're going to be coming through the facility. So we just wanted to make a video so that we can kind of highlight a lot of the different things and the mistakes that other cleaners make that we inevitably have to come in and fix. But yeah, so we'll get to it. And I'll see if I can't set you guys up in the corner somewhere so that you guys can kind of see the process as we go. All right. So guys, I just wanted to show you, we found the culprit for all the residue on the floor. There it was, fabuloso. So that stuff is really, really bad for leaving residues on the floor. So we've got warm water in our bucket, and we're not putting any solution in here. This normally has neutral cleaner that we run through it, but because we have plenty of soap on the floor because of the fabuloso, we're actually not going to be putting any more soap on the floor. There's already soap on the floor. So we are all just going to be putting warm water to kind of help that soap break down, scrubbing it with the pad here, the white pad. And then once it's scrubbed, once it's down, we'll bring it back up, pick it back up with the vacuum mop, and that'll basically get rid of all of the soap. It may take a little while. It may take a little while to get it, but we will get it. So, but you can see all this stuff here. You see all these footprints and things like that. You'd think, oh, it's dirt, it's dirt. Well, it's actually, hold on, let me see. It's actually soap residue. So we can do a little test while we're waiting on the mop bucket. We can actually just put some soap on the floor and just, we can put some soap on the floor. That'll be enough for now. Take a little bit of water, put it on our floor here, just like that. And it's hard to see, but there are bubbles. Really, really small because it's porcelain. It's not going to hold on to as much, but there are bubbles, soap bubbles, soap scum. So basically, there's already soap on the floor, so we're not going to add any. Neutral cleaner is basically another detergent, so we're going to add as little as we need to get it up. So we're going to be using hot water or warm water. I'm gonna have to use 2 hands for that. We're gonna be using hot water, mopping down the floor, letting the water kind of break down the soap, and then we'll be scrubbing it and picking it up with our scrubber. So that's the plan, and that's our small scrubber that's just charging for now. So, okay, I'll set y'all back up here. Floors. Anyways, so here you go. You guys can see your before. You see all the residue that's just all over the place. And then this is after. See that? So these floors, she had requested that we buff the floors, but as you can see, these floors don't need buffing. They just need to get the residue off the floor. So we're not using any cleaner. Just with water. We're just cleaning the floors with water. And this isn't the only step we're gonna do, right guys? So this is just the first step to really try to scrub all the junk off of the floor, but we still have to do finish mopping so that it has a really good appearance to it. But you could see the before and after. I mean, this is kind of the condition of the floors before, and that's the condition of the floors after, so. guys. We're just doing the second pass here. And, this floor is already looking so much better, so much cleaner. So this pass, since we got all the residue off the floor, there's still some grease and stuff like that that are on the floors. So now we're going down with a very, very mild solution of pH neutral floor cleaner. So that way we don't have to worry about marring the surface at all. But you can see these floors. But yeah, these floors are looking so much better. All right, here we go. Here's the dirty one. Ooh. Of course, I'm standing right in it. Now I'm gonna have to wash my shoes. Look at all that. That's pretty crazy. Remember, see all the bubbles? That's all the soap that was inside. Remember, we didn't use any soap at all. All we used was pure water, and you can see all the soap residue that's coming off. So there you go. Okay guys, so this is where we're at. As you can see, the floors look so much better. See, there's no more bunch of soap and stuff on the floor. Is it perfect? No, but it is a lot better. So this is before we finish mop it. Of course, once we finish mop it, then we're gonna be leaving. So I won't have a video of us finish mopping it, but these floors came out so much better. So there you go. So with the residue that was on the floor, I'm guessing maybe one more visit and one more run, but we'll do that on the following visits. One more run with that machine and we'll officially have all the residue up off of the floor to where we're dealing with just the floor itself again. So, but this turned out looking a whole lot better. So the reflectivity of the floor is much better, and you can kind of see there that the reflection coming off the floor is a lot nicer too. So, all right, well, we're about halfway done. Okay, so we are almost out of here. We still haven't done the finished mopping, but we've done the bathrooms and the kitchen and the bar area with the little mini auto scrubber. And that gives us all of our glaze back on the floor. Now you can see there's still a little bit of residue on the floor, and that's gonna come up with the mopping, because we're just gonna have to, you see the machine doesn't get into the corners, so we just kind of have to mop up by hand. But it looks a lot better than it did. You can still see there, no more. See that? Remember before? No more. So much better shine to the floor, a lot more reflectivity throughout all this area. We just finished this area, and you can see the streaks in here. That's why we always finish mop, because the machines aren't perfect. They really good at cleaning the floor, but they're not good at leaving that really nice finish. Now on floors with a matte finish like this, it's not as big of a deal, because just because there's not a lot of reflectivity, but you can see through there. But yeah, so we're just gonna be finishing up here. This is our little screen machine here. I love this thing. Super lightweight. You can turn on the brush and the vacuum at the same time. And it's highly maneuverable. So, definitely one of my favorite machines. So, and you can turn off the brush if you just want to suck up the water. But anywho, I'm gonna finish this up, get the dirty water poured out of here, and and this is actually gonna be staying here. So that's one of the things that we typically like to do, is have a machine on site, especially anytime there's like glossy floors. That way, if in the future, if we have any sort of like messy spills, greasy stains, or anything like that, we don't have to make a special trip with a big machine like you saw, that big massive machine. We could just take this little tiny machine and just kind of go over wherever that spill is, and then reserve the big machine for whenever we have big spills and big problems to deal with. So, okay, I just got to clean this up, get everything out of here, and then we'll start the finish mopping process. You know, I forgot to mention what finish mopping was. So a lot of people, I'm sure, are unfamiliar with the term. And this is regular mopping, right? You're taking a cleaning solution, mopping it onto the floor and all that kind of stuff, right? Finish mopping has nothing to do with actually cleaning the floor. Has everything to do with just the way the floor looks. The way the floor looks after it's been cleaned. So this is a regular mop. We use microfiber mops because they're a lot better. They don't smell over time, and they don't hold on to as many bacteria and things like that. And so, but this is just regular mopping, right? Our finish mop is right there, and you may look at it and say, that looks familiar. Well, yeah, it's because it's a flat mop. So, flat mop, this is basically mopped regular. You can see there's a lot of liquid and stuff like that on the floor. Finish mop, you see it just kind of cuts down all that liquid. Now, none of this is dry. This still needs to dry, but you'll see the difference kind of from the front to the back. It's kind of hard to see, I guess, on a black floor. But essentially, you kind of just get in here. And this improves the, so that none of the residue will stick to the floor. Wow, this is hard to do with one hand. This improves it so that none of the residue will stick to the floor. also just improves the overall finish. So that's what finish mopping is, just in case you guys were wondering. So, of course, with these floors, since these have already been deep cleaned, our finish mopping, we're not gonna mop it, right? Because we mopped it with the machine. So on these floors, the purpose of finish mopping is to get rid of our last little footprints. Right there, see that? Those are our footprints. That is inevitable because, you know, we're cleaning the place and so we have to walk around. So the purpose of the finish mopping is just to get rid of the last footprint. So typically when we finish mop while we are walking out of the door, while we're walking out the door. So it's kind of the last step that we do before we walk out of a facility. Okay guys, so this is where we're at. Looks a lot better. Excuse me. So we got up all these cobwebs. See, all these look a lot better now. No more cop. I'm gonna have to get that, missed that spot. But we got up in here, we asked them to replace the grates so that way we wouldn't have to go up there, but we brushed that off too, because like we said, the outside of your business's appearance is also gonna be something that, that you know, can be successful or whew, man, I can't speak, I am proper tired. Anyways, you can see we cleaned the glasses. So see all the way down there, all the dust on the windows. So we did the windows here of this business. So the front is looking proper presentable. We swept out the front. We'd like to do some work here on the front, but we'll have to see if the client wants that or not. And we'll have to work on the finish of some of these rails here, but step it up on the inside. We still need to do this one little area. This is what we're gonna do. The very end, as you can see, I'm still walking on it, which is why I haven't done it yet. Oh, okay, hold on. This is where it starts to get clean. Okay, this is it. So, looks much better than it did. The floor, the customer said, John, the floor is wet. It's still wet. I said, nope, it's not wet, it's clean. That's what it's supposed to look like. And she was just shocked. So, and then we also touched up this television. I forgot to show you guys in the video, but that was just really, really dirty, greasy, and oily, and just looked bad. So we touched that up. And then we got the vacuums, or the bathrooms. We got the bathrooms here. So the bathrooms look much better now. And on this side too. So the floors look a lot better now. So, yep. Just make sure we didn't forget anything in here. Got dry floors, yep, floor's all dry. That's all dry. Okay, well, we're out of here. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. And also cleaned up these countertops here. So they look much better now. So, okay, well, we are out of here. Not 100% sure where the light switches are, considering this is our first time in this building. So the first couple of times are always a little bit confusing because you're trying to figure out where everything is at. So we always maintain a small little stash of supplies, small janitorial cart, and this is where we've got ours. It's just right here. So as you can see, we like to keep a scrubber on the premises. And the purpose of that is just so that if they do have any really serious problems with the floor, junk on the floor, we don't need to dispatch with that big massive scrubber, take the trailer out, and since nobody can drive the trailer but me, I would have to show up. Now that we have the scrubber on the premises, somebody can just show up, operate the scrubber, and be good to go with that. So, all right, well, this is our line here. You can see where it goes from clean to dirty. So we'll fix that, and we'll call this the end of the video. So what do you think, Mike? End of the video? Looks good? Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you later.